We've talked about two sequential bombs coming out in the entertainment space for quite a while, and it's been a minute since we've checked back in with gaming's offering. More on the other one later today, but when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, man, it's interesting, right? Because when the game first launched, I watched a couple of gameplay streams to just see if the game was as bad as everybody thought it was going to be, and yeah, pretty much, okay? But when it comes to getting even, later content, it's funny, right? Because everybody's pretty much dropped off on it because it's just like it's fundamentally not a good game. The characters suck, the voice acting is trash, the animations are still janky, but hey, Ubisoft has gone and monetized it through the roof, and trust me, bro, it's definitely a return to form and whatever the shills were paid to say at the beginning. But a lot of people, they've just fallen off, okay? Even when it comes to people who want to review the game, they are struggling to come back to the game because it's just bad, okay? And even the people that are just playing it that aren't even nearly as plugged in as the rest of the world is, at least the online world has been, to Ubisoft and their antics in this game and its development cycle, even they're like, yeah, I'm good, okay? I'll either wait for a sale or I'll just wait until the next release, which is going to be what, the all-female Assassin's Creed Salem witch trial stuff. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be fantastic. That'll be the game that takes Tencent from being a 25% partner to a 100% owner of Ubisoft. But we'll talk about that bomb whenever it rears its ugly head, because at this point in time, we can just simply point and laugh at the slow kid in the corner that is Ubisoft and go, told you so, because in its second week of release, yeah, player counts declined by 30%, which were already bad, and then still, like, it's even worse. And to compare and contrast that with other Ubisoft titles that Ubisoft is more than willing to go ahead and compare Shadow's performance to, I think it's only fair, but we'll get to that in due time. So Assassin's Creed Shadows sees peak player counts decline by nearly 30% in its second weekend. Assassin's Creed Shadows saw peak player count decline nearly 30% in its second weekend following release. In the most recent 24-hour peak on Steam, Assassin's Creed Shadows hit 46,125 players. I guess that would have been on Sunday. Now I'm recording this Monday evening, Tuesday evening, whatever the first is. I've completely and totally lost track of time at this point. But yeah, the people that are in the game right now, 17,000 people, 27,000 people, I guess, what, Monday night? So yeah, you ended up hitting your peak. What was that? I guess, yeah, Sunday. That's normally when you end up hitting your peak, but oof, God, on Monday, like, nobody's checking this shit out. 30,000 people, okay? And then, yeah, on Tuesday, 27, and I don't imagine that it's going to pick up anytime soon. Christ almighty, I think that Dragon Age Veilguard probably had a better retention rate, which I think is one of the comparables that's out here, okay? So 28.8% decline of the game's peak concurrent player count of 64,825, that of which it'll never, ever, ever hit again. Yeah, it hit that on Sunday, March 23rd, the first Sunday following the game's release, in accordance with general trends. But you would have also thought, and even I did, hedging my bets, just because it's like, okay, Assassin's Creed, it carries some sort of prestige with it, okay? And there's still quite a few normies that are going to be out there, and we've seen other games with arguably less controversy behind it, or if they had more controversy, it was just one or two aspects, but it wouldn't detract from the studio, and it wouldn't really detract from the game. And we seen how well those performed, and I thought, like 80, 90, maybe even to the low 6 digits you would get for player count. I'm still shocked that this thing didn't even crack 65,000. That's insane, man. Okay, for comparison, the Veilguard, yeah, okay, so they did draw that I can't believe that one almost cracked 90,000, and well, we've seen how well that worked out for BioWare. I hit a peak concurrent player count of 89,418 players in its first Sunday on November 3rd, and its second Sunday the game fell to a peak of 61,063. That was 31.7%. So yeah, Dragon Age ended up having a slightly steeper drop off in its second week, and that is another game that was praised to hell and back by the critics, just like Shadows, but all in all, has a much stronger player base. But no, hey guys, the way that Ubisoft is selling this, right? Because we never got numbers, and honestly, the only time that we heard anything in regards to sales updates for Dragon Age the Veilguard was when EA had their quarterly report, and they said that they only had 1.5 million players. No, interesting, because what was it, not that long ago when you had Assassin's Creed Shadows come out and say, oh yeah, we have 3 million players. and you have considerably fewer people on the biggest PC gaming storefront going, I'm still, man, I don't know. I don't really know how that math is mathin' over there in Grand Prairie, because, okay, sure, Shadows was on Ubisoft's proprietary, what is it, Ubisoft Connect or something like that. Their monthly subscription service, you could go ahead and get access to whatever version of the game it was for a cool $18 or $20 a month. Well, the same thing was happening with EA service, and they are a much larger company, and still Veilguard had nearly 90,000 players, and you couldn't crack 65 in a similar release cycle. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Something tells me things are a little bit funny, okay? Ubisoft has not provided any sales data for the game as of yet, but it has attempted to portray the game as a success by touting the number of players. It's so funny, right? Because they can go ahead and tout that stuff, whereas a game that is a verifiable success in Monster Hunter Wilds breezes past 10 million players, right? Oh no, 10 million units sold. Capcom explains why it's done so incredibly well. Oh, yeah, crossplay, day one on PC, all of the stuff that's, minus crossplay, because I don't think that there's a multiplayer element to Shadows. I'm sure that's probably coming. That's going to be, it's going to be one of the updates, like a new game plus and fixing the stealth and outlaws. All right, we didn't do that. We just got rid of it, right? But Monster Hunter Wilds' phenomenal success shows no signs of slowing down, because, yeah, I would imagine it's still right up there at the top. It was every time that I've checked the concurrent player counts on Steam, it is cracking 6 digits consistently, and especially over the weekends when it's getting up to that 250,000. It's not slowing down. It's first month sales record for Capcom. No game in the company's history has sold more after a month on sale. Wilds was already the fastest selling game in Capcom history, selling 8 million copies in 3 days. But hey, Shadows had 3 million players in 5 days. Yeah? In a note to press, Capcom explained why it believes Monster Hunter Wilds has proven so successful, even blowing Monster Hunter World out of the water. It pointed to the introduction of crossplay and day one launch across consoles and PC. World launched on PC a half a year after the console as key factors in Wilds' appeal. Yeah, exactly, because that's something that, Capcom pioneered a few years back, and it did exceedingly well, them coming out of a relatively dark period, and it's gone on to be exceptionally profitable for them. Square Enix, coming off of the back of lackluster sales performance, just looked over at Capcom and just the wholesale took their strategy moving forward. And it's like, yeah, exclusivities for the birds. We're just going to go ahead and release everything as quickly as possible, and we will see how that's going to bore out into the near future. I don't know, man. By the time that I'm recording this, we haven't seen the Switch 2 Direct quite yet, so don't quite know if there's a Final Fantasy IX remake that is on the horizon, or what they're going to be doing moving forward. But I'd imagine we're going to see that strategy play out with successful Japanese companies into the future. And if the Western companies were smart, we know that they aren't, they would adopt a similar policy. But alright, even if you do release a game to as many people as humanly possible, it still has to be good. Okay, and by all accounts, that's what Monster Hunter Wilds is. There's some people that are quibbling, but this is about, the stuff that we used to talk about when it came to game development. It's trying to appeal more to normies. Okay, it's dumbed down. Or other people are saying, well, it's fun and I enjoy it, and there's a bunch of people that I can play along with, and all of the mechanics are still there. Yeah, it's still got that big, high-end learning curve to it. But when it comes in, yeah, it'll go ahead and ease into things before the difficulty and the complexity of the systems really starts to ramp up. Those are the types of conversations that's happening. Monster Hunter, I played a little bit of it. Like I said before, I got the first console released one on the Wii U. I played a little bit of it, thought that it was neat, but all of this, it's not my cup of tea. But then again, I'm not going to begrudge anybody for playing it, because all things point to it just being an ideologically free game that is just fun to play. A little bit buggy, but what game isn't at this point in time? So to pick a game apart for that, I don't know, man, you're a little bit silly. But going back to the comparisons for Assassin's Creed Shadows, okay, because I guess it's not fair to also compare it to a series, okay, like you got Dragon Age, obviously, like there's more installments, okay, there is more installments in Assassin's Creed, so perhaps, you know, you've just diluted the fan base into thinking that you don't need to get the, whatever it is, 17th or 20th iteration of Assassin's Creed, so that's not a fair comparison. It's also not a fair comparison to make to Monster Hunter Wilds, okay, it's outlandish success because it's a different type of game, okay, even though it probably have a similar budget coming from a, you know, a similarly prestigious studio. It's not a fair comparison. Well, let's just go ahead and do an apples to apples comparison on this one. Let's go ahead and compare Assassin's Creed Shadows to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and when they were out there touting, oh yeah, no, this is the most successful release of an Assassin's Creed game since Valhalla. Well, here's the thing, man. Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't even doing as well as Odyssey is doing. Second weekend comparison of Assassin's Creed Shadows and Odyssey. Odyssey had only a 3.7 drop in its player count, while Shadows saw nearly a 30% drop. The game has terrible legs, as I predicted. Get woke, go broke. Well, is it so much get woke? Or is it just like, this is an ass game, okay? Because here's the thing, man. Odyssey launched a day and date on Steam with either the rest of Ubisoft's PC ports, or it also did with the console. I think that's the way that it worked. But yeah, man, it's week 1 to week 2 drop from 62 down to 59,000. Yeah, that's pretty good in comparison. It's just not doing the same thing. But yes, of course, yes, second highest day 1, biggest the Ubisoft day 1. What about day 7? How does that rank on, yes, day 7 for the franchise and Ubisoft? The drop off is looking very bad. Oh, it's looking very bad on a multitude of fronts. So bad, in fact, that Ubisoft stock has been falling. It hasn't really been falling. It has been free falling for the past few days. Yes, as the stock falls double digits a day after days after the Tencent deal. Yeah, exactly. What they were cooking up in the background ran cover for a game that was their last-ditch effort to try to maintain a modicum of relevance. Oopsie daisy. Ubisoft stock is falling again, just days after the French-based company, French-based publisher announced a deal for a new subsidiary in partnership with Tencent. The company's stock fell by double digits on Monday. Looking at the markets in the United States, UK, and France, the company's stock fell at least 11.8%. Ooh, geez, percent. As of closing in the UK, Ubisoft is trading at 11.19 euros per share and at 12.15. Yeah, when it opened at, oh yeah, as compared to 12 euros, 15. I don't know what their cents are. That's the European Union. They don't make any sense. In France, stock prices fell 12.06%, down to 11.16. The fall fully erases the 11% gain the company saw in stock prices on Friday, less than a day after the deal was announced. Shortly after the deal was announced, multiple employees reached out to to express worries over layoffs at Ubisoft for those not working on the included franchises. Yeah, the ones that were wrapped up in that is Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry. Meanwhile, the rest of the the slate of Tom Clancy games, I don't even know if they call them Tom Clancy games anymore. Any of the Rayman stuff, Watch Dogs, Beyond Good and Evil. It's like, oh yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2, that's going to be coming out any day now, right? That hasn't been canceled indefinitely, right? All right, but yes, as that deal was announced not but a week ago, I would imagine there's going to be further announcements as to the future of Ubisoft, and well, they can continue to try to tell you how much of a smash hit Assassin's Creed Shadows is, but men lie, Frenchmen lie, but numbers ultimately don't. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a failure, and Ubisoft is the only bigger catastrophe in gaming so far in 2025. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.